Hello, my special little friend. Come along and play. We're going on a magical adventure, a tea party and a story too, with bubbles and lots of magic. Oh, and two little friends who have been waiting to meet you. Come along. I'm so glad you fluttered by today. We need to find the perfect spot for our special tea party. I've got my basket. I packed my favorite teacup, a yummy snack, and our special story. But I can't forget our two special little friends. Do you want to meet them? Come on, let's go find our special spot so they can come out and say hello. I wonder where the perfect little spot is. I need some shade. What gives us shade, little dreamers? That's right, the trees. Come on, let's go. I found the perfect spot for our tea party and set up all our sweet treats. Are you ready to meet our two little friends? They are so excited. They're holding hands because they're a little scared. Meet Sheila. Her heart is as big as the outback. She is so kind and she hops around spreading lots of joy. And well, this is Montana, the little hippie Byron Bay kangaroo. Can you believe she made her dress all by herself? Together, they are the best of little friends. They've joined us for our tea party today. And we're going to talk about kindness and sharing. They have their own little fairy bread and treats for if they get hungry. Are you ready to listen along to our story? Our story is called The Bear Who Would Not Share. Snuggle down, little dreamers, find a comfy spot and get ready to listen along. The Bear Who Would Not Share. Bear had spent the whole morning baking cakes and had covered them in yummy icing. They looked and smelled amazing. Bear was admiring his cakes when there was a loud knock on his front door. Knock, knock. I wonder who it could be. Hello, Bear, said Owl. I was flying by and couldn't help but notice the delicious smell coming from your house. I don't suppose that you would share one of your yummy cakes covered in icing with me, said Owl as he peered at the cakes in the kitchen. No, said Bear. Oh, that's not very good sharing. As Bear started to clear up the mess that he had made whilst baking, there was a second knock on his front door. That's strange, said Bear. I usually don't have that many visitors. Bear opened the door and was surprised to see Fox on his doorstep. Hello, Bear, said Fox. I was walking by and couldn't help but notice the delicious smell coming from your house. I don't suppose that you would share one of your yummy cakes covered in icing with me, said Fox, as he spied the cakes in the kitchen. No, said Bear. It's not very good sharing. Bear went back to cleaning the kitchen and had almost finished when he heard the sound of knocking on his front door again. Hello, Bear, said Rabbit. I was hopping by and I couldn't help but notice the delicious smell coming from your house. I don't suppose that you would share one of your yummy cakes covered in icing with me, said Rabbit as he admired the cakes on display. No, said Bear. Bear's not very good at sharing. News of Bear's yummy cakes covered in icing quickly spread throughout the neighborhood, and many of Bear's friends came to visit him. No, no, and no. So much knocking, but Bear just kept saying no to all his friends. No, no, no. They all seem sad. They just want Bear to share the special cupcakes covered in icing with them. After a busy morning of baking, Bear was feeling very tired. He stopped to admire his cakes once more and then went upstairs to have a nap. Oh, he's tired. All that baking made him tired. When Bear woke up from his nap, he was very hungry indeed. He couldn't wait to eat one of his yummy cakes covered in icing. But when he got downstairs, Bear couldn't believe his eyes. The yummy cakes covered in icing were gone. Oh no, I wonder where they went. Bear raced outside. Rabbit, have you seen my yummy cakes covered in icing? No. Fox, have you seen my yummy cakes covered in icing? No. Owl, have you seen my yummy cakes covered in icing? No. I wonder where they've gone. Then Bear saw his cub, Little Bear, holding one of his yummy cakes covered in icing. Little Bear had seen the cakes and decided to share them with his friends. Although Little Bear should have asked if he could share the cakes, Bear could not be angry with him. Seeing all of the happy faces covered in icing, Bear realized that it was good to share. I don't suppose that you would share some of those yummy cakes covered in icing with me, Bear said, as he admired the last cake Little Bear was holding. Do you think he's going to share? Yes, Little Bear replied. Aw, see, sharing is caring. Even though Bear didn't want to share all of his yummy cakes covered in icing, it was a good thing to see all of his friends with a big happy smile with their faces covered in icing. What do you think, Sheila and Montana? Did you enjoy today's story? Well, I did. What about you, little dreamers? That certainly did make me hungry. Are you hungry? I'm hungry. Should I show you what we have on our special little tea party platter? You girls just sit there and wait tight. So, I bought my magical tea. My fairy friends helped create it. It sparkles, and I bought my favorite teacup. Should I put some of my magical tea in my teacup? Okay. Oh, they did it very tight. I have to use my muscles. Can you help? On the count of 3, say, I do believe in fairies. 1, 2, 3. I do believe in fairies. Okay. Now we'll get our special teacup and pour it in. Can you see all the magic swirling around? I must take a sip. I'm very thirsty after reading my story. So yummy. And I have special cakes that I want to share with my friends, Sheila and Montana. Okay. They're pink and white and made with lots of fairy love. If I break it in half, that's probably still a little bit too big. I'll get a little bit for Sheila and a little bit for Montana. Here you guys go. Here is some of our special fairy cakes. I hope you enjoyed today's story. I think before we go I should blow some bubbles. What do you think? I think so. But you have to believe in fairies and in yourself. I do believe in fairies. So many bubbles. Can you count the bubbles? 1, 2. Look at that big bubble. More bubbles, little dreamer. Let's count the bubbles. Should we count the bubbles? Okay, you count with me. 1 bubble. 2 bubbles. Oh, let's try again. 3 bubbles. That's a bouncy bubble. I hope you enjoyed today's tea party and meeting our special little friends. Don't forget that sharing is caring and it makes everyone's heart nice and warm. Always stay magical and be kind, little dreamers. And I'll see you next time on Storytime with Fairy Holly. Bye!